Bara rakt av svartvitt. Tror jag inte på. All right. So here it is. Daniel, he did some upgrades, which I really like. As you maybe know or not know, I also have a big school bus, like double this size. And I really was sad that my bus doesn't have this stop sign. Anyway, let's drive it in and check it out. Oh! So I've already started with some more work on the bus, but I can show you what I did and also what Daniel and his guys have been doing so far. What Daniel and his guys did is they built all these boxes for the speakers. What I did so far is I built these shelves, and this is just bent plywood, and here we're also going to have speakers and the TV. And I also started on these overhead shelves. They're just for lighting or for lights. So there's a bit more construction to do. I built a big, here's going to be like the whiskey bar. So here I also build a box which is a bit rounded with some shelves and maybe some leather finish on the top. And also this shelf here, I want to, before I built, when I built it, the guy said they need the space here for speakers or whatever. So, but in the end they didn't need it. So what my plan is here, I open up the front side here, at least half, so it's like an open shelf with some brass pipes around. Maybe to hold some glasses or bottles or whatever, and on the top here build like a oak frame, and then maybe also do some leather, like some work here on the face, or just some fabric or something nice, so you can put your glasses down and they don't fall right off the rolling bus. Let's see. So here I have some samples of the colors for the overhead shelf. You know, this is the overhead shelf. And I think we go with the more brownish one. This is the sample for the leather of the couch. Man, that's it. Let me turn off the lights. I'm really happy how this turned out. Imagine this like 4 times here, and on the other side it's gonna be like 5 times, and just glowing. It's also like dimmable, or so you can tune it down or up, and this will be just like a really cool gimmick in the bus. Yes. this. It was really tight here. Right. I don't get what I thought. So. Wow, this is tight here. I might even take this drawer out and take a centimeter off here. This is a bit too tight, or half a centimeter at least. And ouch, my fingers. 5 millimeter off. All right. Yep. So now I want to put on the faces of the drawers, and I already marked and drilled some pilot holes here to have the screws in, which are holding the front. And what I'm gonna do now is, since they are supposed to sit flush with the with the face of the kitchen. Yes, here the screw is. I put in like just 2 screws just to hold it in place and to see if it all works out. And so, but I need them here right now to check, to make sure that this sideway distance is what I want. But if I close it, you know, it's just gonna be shut. But yeah, if I close it, I will not be able to open it up again. Let's figure out something. I'll be back.
One eternity later.
Okay, so I figured it out. I use this kind of hook here just to pull it out, and tomorrow I need to figure out what to do with the front face. Anyway, I know this will not stay like a perfectly straight plain surface. Something cool has to happen on these 2 drawers. It's the only 2 drawers we have in this bus, so they need to be somehow cool. Use this mesh again in some kind of way. Brass, flat steel or brass or flat pieces. Maybe some pipes or something. So this autofocus is just shit today, so we'll stop for today. Thanks for watching and see you tomorrow morning. Autofocus. Let's talk. This one I also made, or it's almost finished. Here we're just gonna have like a display for the air ride system, and here I want to have kind of like 2 of these bars and then brass pipes in between here, just like 1/3, so you can have whatever stuff in there, maybe even like a socket to charge phones and stuff. And then I want to get like a mirror, acrylic with a mirror finish kind of, to have inside here, because we're also gonna need mirror glass for the pop-up bar, but this is really ugly here, so I'm just gonna cover it up with the mirror, and then have these ones, brass pipes, and yeah, a nice little shelf. Because this is kind of the first thing you see. When you go around the bus, you will see all this marble lit up, but once you open the door, this is kind of the first thing you see. So this needs to be decent. Oh, it looks nice. But that's the idea with this shelf. Yes. Okay, Sunday morning, we're back at the shop. I can show you how messy and crazy it looks. For instance, here we have this little shelf. Here we also have things I need to paint for the kitchen. Here we have one of the finished overhead shelves. Inside here, yeah, flooring. Looks pretty crazy in here. Can also tell you a funny story. Yesterday was a really long day. So we stayed very long and worked very hard. And then in the last minute, more or less, you know, I had all these overhead shelves and stuff. I had them stacked here on the wall to dry up. And sadly, one of them fell. And of course it cracked. So here we have this guy. What I had to do is I had to put it up here to put it under tension and then put in some PU glue. So this one has been expanding quite nicely, but let's see how this turns out. I need to remove the tape and see how it's turned out and see how it's, yeah, what's gonna happen. So now I'm not gonna stag them here anymore standing, they just have to lay down. And yeah, what else do we have here? We have a little marble piece. It looks very like dull right now because it's still, the plastic covers are still on. Small framing list, which also have like a little groove here. Incredible. So now I'm gonna paint some of this stuff and some of this stuff, and then we'll see how it turns out. So these are all kitchen parts which I want to paint now. This one I painted yesterday, turned out nicely, I think. So now it's gonna get another coat. And the other ones are gonna get the first coat of red here. And this is just water-based paint, so that's really nice. Because like the dark brown ones for the shelves and stuff, they are oil-based, and the freaking drying time is insane. And since this kitchen is MDF, I also primed it. One of the round shelves here is just like plywood on the inside, which I didn't prime. I just put in 2 layers of like the brown paint and done. But this MDF, especially like on the edges, you know, it's like to soak up. It soaks up so much paint, so you need kind of this barrier to get a nicer finish. And depending on the finish you want to achieve, you can also just strike it with a pencil once you're done here. There are like these pencil marks, but I don't care. I care, but I think it's a nice finish with the roller. So I'm gonna stick with that. Welcome back to the shop. Daniel is here behind the camera, and let's go through some stuff I've been working on. This is the front face of one of the drawers. We have like this nice dark red as a base of the kitchen. We have these stained wooden trims, and we have this brass mesh with black fabric behind. So this is a really nice piece. On the top here is the top of the drawer. We're gonna have like a long handle kind of where you can drag out the drawer. So that I've been working on as well. Here we have the front face of the kitchen. The only thing left here is basically to put this black fabric on the back side of this one, because I don't want to have it see-through. But then this is also finished. Here we have this finished rails for the shelf with the entrance. And we have it on video when it's cracking, when it's almost done.
When it's cracking?
That is nice, yeah. like it broke here. Oh. And then I put a screw in here, and then it broke in the middle as well. So this was a really fun piece to do, but I mean, it looks fantastic.
Beautiful.
And this is the trim for the top of the shelf. But the shelf is right now in the other workshop because I stained it and put some more clear coat on. Then we have put in the floor. Here we have like a herringbone style parquet. What we did is we took like a thicker paper and make templates of all the sections, and then we just built the, it's A and B pieces. I don't know if I have any here. Whatever, it's kind of like this. This is cut off, but it's like roughly like this size, and you put them together in a certain pattern. So we build it together on the table, and it's always a bit bigger, and then we cut it after the size of the templates. And it's also like it's important, or for me it was important, that this piece is basically attached. It was attached to this one, so we cut it here and then folded it down. So all these wood grains, they just followed the step, and that was important for me, but I can't see it so well. But anyway, I know it's really done the right way. Whatever. And also here on the step, because I don't want you to fall over it. And then we have these brass fittings. They sit over them. This one is a bit too large. So the LED light sits behind here and lights up this edge of the step, so you can't miss it, and it looks really nice. But now when I turn it on, it just looks green because there's green tape on top to protect it. But anyway, drawers. And I put up these shelves now. These are final finished. They sit snug and tight. And down here we have like some nice screws with like these kind of fittings. They look really beautiful. And the only thing left is like a small trim on the edge and a trim up here as well. So you get rid of this this gap there, and then we can actually start assembling. Here I need a like electric socket, so I can plug in the TV, and same back there. Right now I started working on the whiskey bar. This is the top plate of the whiskey bar. Now it's upside down, but anyway, no, it's right. It's the right way. Here we're gonna have these hinges sunk or routed into the top plate. So the idea is that you can just take it here and you lift it like this. And then you grab whiskey glasses, bottles, whatsoever. And then you slide it down, and then you have a nice bar area where you can just have the glasses standing. This shelf needs to dry because it has the damage, but the other 3 shelves are in the other workshop. They currently got the first coat of clear coat on, and I'm waiting for them to dry, as well as the little rounded shelf with the door. But we can go there and check it out actually. Let's bring this. Nice. Exactly. So stained on the outside, clear coat on as well, brown on the inside, mirror glass here. So it looks very luxurious. And then I think we're gonna have like a double socket here, so you can jack in your phone and charge it. And then we have this frame sitting like this. And then underneath here we have this bigger trim on the outside, and behind there's some space because there's gonna be an LED light behind here. And yeah, and here I shot it with some really small nails, but I also bought brass furniture nails, they called it. It's like a lynx head, half round head on those. So I'm gonna check in those here just to make sure it looks perfect. And yeah, that's the finish of this shelf, kind of. It's more or less done. I just need to take some brown silicone and frame in. The mirror is already glued in on the back side, but I need to frame in the edges, basically. But then this is kind of finished. The top, I was thinking about maybe we do like we do leather on top of here, and then we have this other small list in brown which sits on the top here, so glasses can't like just slide off. One more coat.
That's for next time.
Next time.
Next time.
Stay tuned. All right.